Hey guys, Equinox here. This is going to be my pretty much full review on Brew on the PTR, how they do in the dungeons, any builds, judge on the 4-piece, stuff like that. First, let's go over the 4-piece, how it feels after testing, etc., etc. So, um, first of all, the 2-piece, I think a lot of people know this. I said it on stream a bunch, but the 2-piece is bugged and doing much more healing than it's supposed to. I think it's doing like 100, 115, 120% of fire damage instead of 50. I'm not sure if it's 100% actually, but it's definitely more than 50, closer to 100. I don't think it's exactly 100 because I don't think it's an exact 1-to-1. But yeah. So I think it's definitely a lot more than it's supposed to be. So expect that to be reduced by about 50% at least. Right now it's overhealing by 60%, so it doesn't really matter that much, even in like a 25. So it doesn't really matter right now. 4-piece does not work at all. The absorb shield and functionality is there, like to show it, but it doesn't actually stop anything. So to be decided, this will make whatever 4-piece does will make up for the 2-piece nerf, basically. So right now we're looking at a good spot. 2-piece is going to get changed and do less, but it's fine because of the overhealing it does already. So yeah, TLDR, it'll be fine. Especially after our 4-piece gets fixed, we'll feel a lot better. All right, now let's move on to let's talk about damage a little bit. So our 4-piece from Aberrus was full damage basically. It had very little, if no, defense value. Sure, the dodge thing, whatever. It didn't really matter too much, but it gave us crap ton of damage. It's about a 20% nerf to spinning crane kick and blackout kick, maybe a little bit more on spinning crane kick, maybe more close to 25. But yeah, it does hurt quite a bit. The breath of fire damage from 2-piece pretty much won't make up for it. And the 4-piece extra damage as well probably won't make up for it, but it'll close the gap just a little bit. However, the eye level gap will make up for it just because. So the eye level gap is going from 447 to 489. So you're getting, or 450 to 489. Sorry, so it's a 39 eye level gap between the max gear this season. Now, the one big difference is M+ players can get all the max gear, basically, except the raid gear, obviously. But you can get 489 gear from your vault now. So that's a big. M+ players won't be, like, completely screwed. But yeah, that's beside the point. Let's talk about how Brew does in these dungeons. So I'm going to go over the dungeons I've tested so far. So all the dungeons that were available this week were both the Mega Dungeons, Wakerest Manor, Taldazar, Blacker Cold, and Dark Heart Thicket. So let's just go down the list. Mega Dungeons first. So Mega Dungeon first half. So this first half of the Mega Dungeon, very heavy magic damage. Extremely heavy magic damage. And, you know, as we've talked about in the past, Brew's not the best against very heavy magic damage. But it actually does do considerably well now. One, because it's not like the melee damage isn't as heavy. So right now the melee damage isn't as heavy. That's also due to some K values though. So it might actually be bad. We'll see. It could change. But right now the Mega Dungeon is probably the hardest hitting tank dungeon to be able to test tankiness is about where you want to go. However, there's a lot of magic damage. The magic damage tank busters from like stuff like Chronic Heart aren't that bad. Because we do have a lot of stuff to deal with. So like we have a lot more control over our Celestial Brew and stuff due to we're playing Blacker combo with the new build. And yeah, it doesn't feel that bad. The only time it feels bad is when you're just dealing with like massive tank busters back to back, which does happen in the trash when you're doing some of this trash and like the manifested time ways and stuff like that. It just hurts like the entire time. As far as the bosses go, they nerfed Manifested Timeways on the PTR. This does not do the Tank Buster, so if you've done this on M0, you know he does the Tank Buster, and it hurts a lot. You know, it hurts quite a bit on live still. So they nerfed this, pretty much completely gone, removed from the Dungeon Journal. This is just the out of melee range mechanic. Blighted Galakron, same fight on live. This guy only does 2 leaps instead of 3, and this guy only summons 2 ads. This thing. 2 ads instead of 5. So 3 bosses, very much nerfed. Trash is probably the hardest part, and I think Brew does actually pretty well against the trash. This first area trash with the chrono shears, or the time slices, I mean, and they put the stacking dodge. It's really good because Brew has constant dodge if you keep pretense up, so I think Brew's actually pretty good at that. Iridicron does literally nothing to brew. This thing pretty much never gets stacked. You get like one stack maybe. So yeah, first half I actually think brew feels really nice. All the trash didn't really kill me the entire time. The only trash that killed me was the manifested time waste trash, and that's just if you pull too big. You just have to pull that place slow until they tune it down. All right, moving on to upper. So let's go over the bosses first. Um, through all 4 of these bosses have tank buster. Tier, Morchie, Time Lost, Battlefield, and Chrono Lord all have big tank busters. Tier's tank buster, pure physical, very easy for brew to do. You can get Celestial Brew up for every single one. Extremely easy. Morchie, Sandblast, you can rotate. So this is physical damage again, so you just rotate Celestial Brew, Zen Med, Fort Brew, Celestial Brew, Defensive Trinket, etc. You just have to rotate between Sandblast. That's it. Really, really easy to deal with. Also link a weak aura for Morchie below, so you guys have that for Season 3. Time Lost Battlefield, Decapitate. This one's kind of tricky. So this one really claps brew because you can't dodge anything, right? And we are very heavy dodge for our mitigation on bosses. So Decapitate's pretty rough for us. But I've started saving, like stacking like Celestial Brew and like a defensive trinket, Celestial Brew and fortifying brew, stuff like that, and it didn't feel too bad. You can also kite him during this if you really want to. It's only a 5-second debuff, but yeah, make sure you have something. The one thing that I learned that the mortal wounds doesn't affect guy pins, so I don't know if that's intended, but it was just full healing me. So until they fix that, you have a way to heal yourself. Chrono Lord, this boss claps tanks. Like, this boss absolutely claps tanks. The Temporal Breath with the Infinite Keepers. I would like to see the Infinite Keepers kickable. It's just so much damage. Like, at least make the Chrono Burn kickable. This is disgusting. The only reason I say make this kickable is because there is a set where 2 come out at the same time and they will cast at the same time, and you just don't have, like, you need like a lock or a priest to keep up with this. But as far as dealing with the Temporal Breath, Brew actually does amazing at it. They have something for everyone. They have Celestial Brew, Diffuse, Zen Med, Fort Brew, Defensive Trinket. Like, you have pretty much something for every single one, and it's really not that bad. So overall, Brew really good in the Mega Dungeons, I think. I don't have any issues that I didn't feel very scared. The trash in the upper mega dungeon is honestly less deadly to tanks than much less deadly to tanks than the first half. So the first half is more tank heavy damage. This half is not nearly as much. Next we go on to BFA. We talk about Ataldazar. Ataldazar and Waycrest. The only one out of these two that actually collapse tanks is Waycrest. It just has very heavy physical damage, very heavy magic damage too with the maggots. I would say the melee damage actually hurts more right now from what I saw. Like, all the magic tank busters didn't really hurt that much, and it was just really heavy physical damage from like the dinner bell guys. Tank busters, as far as bosses, this one does not hurt this much. This one is fun. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever tanked this boss back in BFA, but doing like the how high can you go challenge is really fun. I'll link a clip down in the description below from my adventures doing that. It's pretty funny. Soulbound Alive, this one's fun. This guy doesn't do anything to tanks. This will scale to be a tank destroyer. This is a pure magic damage tank buster fight. If you guys tank this in BFA, this guy clap tanks super hard if you are not a warrior who spell reflected every single one. Very, very rough tank fight. So this will be fun. We'll get to see how hard this one hurts. We'll have a lot more tools to deal with that than we did in BFA. BFA, we didn't have Celestial Brew. We didn't have Diffuse, so have a lot more tools to deal with that. Gorak tool doesn't do anything to tanks. Very, very simple. Taldazar, Razan absolutely collapse. If you do not have an evoker, you will be miserable on this fight. It is very painful. So the reason this is very painful, he does a bleed after every set of abilities. So his ability set is always Serrated Teeth, Terrifying Visage, Pursuit, Rinse and Repeat. He does that every single time and never changes. And then Volcall does nothing to tanks. Priestess does nothing to tanks unless they live up Gilded Claws. Then it claps tanks. Yasma. Right now, I think this is extremely undertuned. Skewer does like literally nothing to tanks, even on like even like a high PTR keys like 26, 27. Just doesn't hurt monk. So I assume that's going to be buffed quite a bit. Trash wise, Ataldazar has not very scary trash. The only scary trash is the swords. The swords do kind of hurt Brew. Each one of their leaps did like 170k to me. I was like, that's kind of surprising. But yeah, the trash in here is definitely a lot weaker than Waycrest. Waycrest just hurts the entire time. Like, it's just so much damage. Let's go to Legion. Black or Cold, this is probably my favorite dungeon to tank for one reason and one reason alone. Smash Spite the Hateful. Hateful Gaze this charge. You can dodge it. So I have a section of my guide for force dodging. You can force dodge this ability and solo tank this forever. So it impacts the first player he comes into contact with, inflicting physical damage, increase their damage taken from hateful charge by 500%. So you're like, okay, I take one, then I get one shot on the next. Brew does not because you can dodge it. So all we had to do, pre-stack our mastery before he does hateful charge, dodge it every single time. It's one of my favorite mechanics in the game. I hope they do not remove it. If they remove it, I will be extremely sad because I think it is a good way to good skill expression, and I hope they don't remove it. It's really fun. Bosses. This boss does nothing to tank. This guy should hurt tank, so he does a vengeful shear mechanic, or she does a vengeful shear mechanic, and it hurt a lot in Legion. I remember this hurting a lot in Legion, so expect this to clap Brew every tanks, but you'll have Celestial Brew for like every other one, so it shouldn't be that bad. This boss also hurts tanks if P1 lives for a really long time. So if P1 in P1 he's like this guy, and he does a stacking bleed, but you can just get an Evoker cleanse on this, I assume, so it shouldn't be that bad. If you don't play with an Evoker, this will hurt if your P1 lasts a long time. Trash wise, Black or Cold has some of the easiest trash that I tanked. It just didn't do anything. I'm sure it's extremely undertuned, but yeah, Black or Cold didn't really have a damage profile that was scary for tanks. And yeah, that's it for that. Dark Art Thicket, much scarier. This is a very heavy magic damage dungeon. The physical damage isn't really a big deal, but the magic damage is very heavy. Boss wise, the only boss that really hurts you is Oakheart, and he just does a crushing grip. This is pure nature damage. You have diffuse for every other one, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, but every other one. So this is very easy for Brew to deal with, won't be an issue. The Nightmare Breath doesn't do much damage right now, so if this gets buffed heavily, then we will probably have an issue on him. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, all the dungeons I didn't really feel scared in. Again, the K values is basically how much damage tanks take and how effective your mitigation is. That is set to Season 2 value, so we are taking less damage than intended. But just, we did like higher keys just to like kind of offset that a little bit. But yeah. All the dungeons feel fine for Brew. The only scary ones are probably going to be Waycrest and first half of the Mega Dungeon. Right now, I haven't seen Throne or Everbloom, so might change in the future. We'll see. But yeah, Brew's looking really good. Damage mitigation wise, damage profile wise, we're looking really good. The way our healing works, the way our CC works, having a poison and disease spell really helps. Yeah, I think Brew's kit's really, really good right now. Let's go over the build. So the build, this is probably going to be our build once again. It doesn't really change. High tolerance is it just doesn't scale or stagger enough. I wish I could take this. It just really does not scale hard enough. This needs to be double the amount of stagger for us to take it, like, at the moment. At least like 1.5% more on each level. So another 3% stagger total. Like, it's just such a low amount for 2-point investment. It's not good. Yeah, we still don't take bounce back. Again, this needs like a double. I made a post on the forums about it. It needs like double the duration. It needs like lower cooldown. One of the two. It needs like a 10-second ICD. But yeah, this is gonna be our build once again. Maybe if they rework like high tolerance, rainfall, and stave, we'll think about going this, or maybe dropping a point in battle for Brew for this, something like that. But right now, this is about it. PTA versus Weapons of Order. I still don't like Weapons of Order, especially with our new 2-set. Sure, you heal a bunch in your 4-piece or in your Weapons of Order window, but then for the next minute and a half, you just do less healing, less damage. I really don't like having downtime as a tank. I don't think downtime as a tank is good, especially for a tank like Brew, where all your defensives are just constantly being cycled. It's not like Bear where you have just massive windows of tankiness, and with yeah, I just think this is just way better. PTA is just way better for M plus. People can disagree with that. That's fine. It's you can play whatever you want. This is not a you have to play this. This is just what I play and think is best. So always keep that in mind. This is not what is literally the best. It's just what I feel is the best. Tree wise, will we ever take dampen? Probably not. Dampen's pretty bad this season. I again just you dodge too many melees. It's just too good. I could see you taking dampen and maybe dark art thicket because it is mostly magic damage in that dungeon. Like there's just a crap ton of casters, so dampen could be good in here. Eulons, way too many good diffuse or way too many good opportunities to diffuse tank busters in this season. So probably will never take Eulons. You could maybe take it in Dark Heart, so that'd probably be the only one. Close to Heart versus Avoidance just completely depends what your team wants. Like if your team wants DR for AoE abilities, or does your team want more healing for the healer? That's about it. Everything else, same as live. Charred Passions versus Dragonfire Brew. Dragonfire Brew, I tried this a lot. It just sucks. It just one, it doesn't do enough damage, so the healing is just worse. Two, it's inconsistent compared to Charred Passion. So if you have Dragonfire Brew, only your Breath of Fire and Exploding Keg will heal you. If you have Charred Passions, your Breath of Fire, Exploding Keg, Spinning Crane Kick, and Blackout Kick, all of those buttons will heal you from the 2-piece. So you're just reducing your amount of sources for healing, so it'll be way less consistent. This is a little bit more bursty, but this is just all the time. And with how hard Blackout Kick hits, I think this is just strictly better. Like, I can't ever see a world with us playing Dragonfire Brew, especially since the dungeons aren't like massive Brackenhide pole dungeons. But yeah, I really like how Brew's looking. I want to talk quickly about the things that we do need still. So everything is looking good. We're looking strong in season 2. One thing that still needs to happen for us to be like a lot better of a tank, and Zao needs change completely. So I've said this on my Twitter, I've said this on Twitch 100 times, but this talent is just a wasted point. Like I don't like at least let us branch into something else. Like just make this not like required. It just needs reworked. It's such a bad talent. And we also have dead talents like Healing Elixir, Graceful Exit, Celestial Flames, and Villain Stave. All of these need massively reworked or just buffed tremendously. Like Celestial Flames needs to be like a 20% DR or something like that. Graceful Exit just needs removed. It's just a weird talent. But yeah, I think Brew's looking great. It still has some issues in the tree. Our capstones are still terrible, but the way we work and the tankiness and the strength of our 4-set, pretty good right now. So we're looking very strong going into 10.2. I hope this explains stuff to you guys. Oh yeah, trinkets. Forgot about trinkets. So the best trinkets right now is just no question. It's Augury of the Primal Flame and Tainted Rage Heart. This is the only good tank trinket besides Cheat Death. Once you get Cheat Death, you'll just run Tainted Rage Heart and Cheat Death, or Augury and Cheat Death on Tyrannical Weeks. I would probably say Augury and Cheat Death on Tyrannical Weeks, because Augury does a crap ton of damage on single target. Like, this is a disgusting single target trinket. If you are not raiding, get Mirror of Torment. I love this trinket. It's so good, especially if you have Mastery as your highest stat. You do an absolute butt ton of damage in the mirror window. Heavily recommend the mirror trinket. Even on live, I use it. So yeah, that's about it. This Gift of Urktos trinket, this has potential. One, it needs to have the ICD needs to be removed. With the ICD, it does no damage, absolutely 0 damage. Like it does like in a giant like a 2-minute pull, it did like 200k damage. It's so bad. Like the ICD just needs straight up removed, or put to like 0.5 seconds or something. I don't know. But yeah, this trinket's really bad. Pips is fine as well. Good stat stick. Coil was pretty bad. Bandolier was pretty bad. Infernal Signet was pretty bad. Pretty much everything besides the trinkets I mentioned were pretty bad. So yeah, we're probably going to be farming the Mega Dungeon a lot, and we'll need the raid trinkets. Raid weapons, this is required. This is like a 5% damage increase. Like this thing is disgusting. This is from Council of Dreams. So if you go to raid, Dragonflight Mirror Soul Council, boom, just get it off of here. Yeah, right here. Get it off of here. Very strong. Absolute disgusting weapon. Farok Staff, kind of shit. I really didn't like this one. It was pretty bad. It only does damage on single target in the first 90%. Otherwise, it does nothing. Highly do not recommend this. So good for us, probably. We have a really good offhand that we can use, and it's from a very early boss, so it won't really matter that much. But yeah, that's the whole video. That's all my impressions on Brew on the PTR right now. All my thoughts, everything that's good or bad about us. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something. I will be posting the dungeon VODs throughout the week from runs we did, so you guys can see it actually in action. So yeah, have a good one and have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.